Hey everyone, Jatzu here, and I am back with another face up video. Yay! You also get a voiceover this time because I kind of felt bad that I didn't provide one for the last video. So yeah, I will be talking a lot of jibber jabber. Well, I'll try not to, but I can't promise anything. And there'll be a lot of pauses and a lot of ums and ahs, and yeah, I'll try and minimize that for this video, but we shall see. Anyway, so in this video I'll be working on a Fairyland NF girl. The commissioner wanted quite a colourful face up, so mostly the colours were going to be pink, purple and blues. Blue's actually one of my favourite colours, so I was kind of glad I was able to put some in this face up. As you can see, I think I'm currently doing maybe a second layer or maybe a first layer. I can't quite remember. I think it's the first layer because I haven't done the lips yet. So yeah, definitely working on the first layer of this face up. Just gradually building up on the pinks and the purples on the eyeshadow. I try and use as many layers as possible, but also not use too many, because I find that if I use too many layers, the colours lose its vibrancy and instead become quite dark. You can also see that I occasionally bring out the magic eraser. It's just that I find that with these sort of colours, they sort of smudge and smear towards the sides a fair bit, so it's always good to have one handy because you can never be too careful, especially if you're like me, someone who makes quite a fair bit of mistakes every now and then. I'm not prone to them, but no one's perfect. So yeah, so in this part I'm kind of just blushing like the creases around the nose, just to bring out some of the features, and I also start building up the colour in the lips. I start with a sort of lightish pink, and then I slowly just build up some dark colours, especially in the inner creases of the lips and more towards the opening of the mouth. I've noticed that I use a lot of different brushes throughout the process of my face ups. I have a mixture of like hard and soft brushes. It's just each individual brush gives me a different type of feel, especially when it comes to the pastel layering. So the harder brushes tend to layer the pastels on a little bit thicker, whereas the softer brushes give you a better blend. But it's always good to trial and error with different types of brushes. I also own a lot of like makeup brushes, which you can get cheaply on eBay for like a quid or two, so they're quite handy to have occasionally. I think I'm working on a second layer here where I'm just continuing to build up more of the colours just to you know, make them brighter, make them more vibrant. Face ups like this sort of always reminds me of like the old type of face ups I used to do. I used to do them quite bright. I suppose it was the trend of the hobby back then, whereas at the moment it's more like realistic sort of base face ups at the moment. Not that I mind, I do like doing realistic face ups as well. I love doing texturing. I also like pushing the boundaries to see just how realistic I can actually get a face to look. Sometimes I creep myself out, which isn't always a great thing, but you know, that's when I know that, yeah, it looks real enough that it creeps me out. So yeah, I'm just going over the blushing on the cheeks and the chin as well. Sometimes it gives the doll a lot more of a cutesy kind of look. I do go over the sections with a magic eraser because I am occasionally a little bit heavy-handed, so it's good again to have one when you accidentally put a bit too much blush in on the cheeks and chin area. In a moment you're going to see that I blush the inner bottom eyelids. I use a slight pinkish colour. It's just to give it that slight realistic feel, but also keeping the cutesiness going on in the face up. I think I start on the eyebrow here, yep, and there's also a slight time skip because I think my camera cut out during recording, so one of the eyebrows is already done. During the process of the eyebrows I use a sort of flat brush because it helps control the shape a little bit more, and I also have a razor to hand just to get that tapered end of the eyebrow, just to get that tip. I also use a softer brush just to blend the inner sides of the eyebrows. It gives them a nice soft look. I also add a bit of pink blush in or red blush in, depending on the face up itself, just again to add the extra cuteness to the face up. Shaping eyebrows can be a slightly long process, just like in real life. But yeah, I do take my time to just shape them carefully and just make sure they match. As you can see here, I am starting on the eyeliner. I didn't realise this before, but after watching myself actually do face ups, I realised I take a lot of time doing the eyeliner. I'm actually quite delicate when it comes to it. I know I start with like a lighter paint, just so that I can get the shape right or the placement right for the eyeliner, and then I gradually darken it bit by bit. But yeah, I'm very delicate when it comes to this part of the face up. I suppose it's also the fear of messing it up, because with using paint it's kind of hard to clean off, especially if you really do mess up. But it's just the fear of ruining the other layers as well, because a lot of the times, even if you seal the face up just to protect the work underneath, if you take a magic eraser to it and you scrub a bit too hard, it still can get rid of the layer of sealant and get to the under layers, which means I have to redo it. Not that it's too big an issue, but it's just extra work that you can do without on a face up. There are other things you can use to do the eyeliner as well, aside from just paint. A lot of people use watercolour pencils, which can help with the control of application, but you know, each to their own. I always find it quite mesmerising when I watch other people paint bottom eyelashes, so it's kind of weird watching myself do it because I'm quite mesmerised by it as well. I also find the process itself to be quite therapeutic, so most often than not I tend to get lost when I do bottom eyelashes. After the line work, I tend to add a bit more of the pastel, because I find that sometimes with a bit more of the detail, the colours have dulled down or not as vibrant as you thought they were, so it's always good to top up the colours if you feel you need to. Next I'll be working on the line work for the eyebrows, and I mean, despite all these years that I've been doing face ups, I still find it very daunting, because they're one of the hardest parts to get accurate or to get to look right, and it requires a lot of different, well, it's dependent on different factors, like your brush itself, especially if you're using paint. Is your brush thin enough to get the lines to be the correct delicateness? Is your paint thin enough? Because sometimes if your paint's too thick, it can end up being quite gloopy. Eyelid lines, I'm not particularly confident when applying them, because more often than not I do mess up, so if I can get away with not applying them, I do try to skip that part of the face up. But for this one, it sort of needed that extra depth, so I risked it and went ahead and added some eyelid lines. And because it's a process that I'm not very confident in, I slowly and gradually build up the colours just in case I mess up. And then afterwards I again top it up with some more pastels, adding more purples and more pinks. Due to all the details and whatnots on the face up, the colours tend to die out or dull, so it's just to make it more bright. I think in the next process I add some white detailing. This is just for like highlight, just to break up some of the details, because it can seem quite busy or cluttered. I mainly use it for obviously the bottom eyelashes, the eyebrows and the inner eye corners, just to again bring out the features of the face up. I don't think I recorded these next few bits, which is doing the lip lines and the freckles of the face up, but they were processes I did off camera, and maybe in the future I'll include a video of me doing actual like freckles and maybe texturing, but I'll think about it. And here is the final face up. Ta-da! I would like to thank everyone for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see future videos. Hopefully see you guys all soon. Bye!